What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Attack on Titan, the final season. This is episode 19, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So, I mean, we're immediately picking up where the action left off in the last episode. I mean, Eren is still struggling to reach Zeke, but of course, Rhina and I think Porco is still trying to stop him from getting there. Porco tries to bite him in the leg, but then Eren just literally crushes the Titan's head over and over again until Porco himself is knocked unconscious. And then of course there's a lot of other stuff happening around at the same time. Mikasa and the others are literally trying to get over to the Cart Titan to stop her from firing the anti-Titan cannon strapped to her back. So they eventually reach there, but not before they end up shooting another round at the Beast Titan again.
Yeah. I actually think this episode in general is... It really felt like MAPPA really kind of brought their A game for this episode, in terms of the animation quality and just the way everything was shot. It definitely looked a lot better, especially with all the Titans, because we do end up seeing more of the pure Titans in this episode, and fortunately they're not CG. The Titan shifters are sometimes CG, but at least the pure Titans remain pretty much 2D. So I was kind of thankful for that when they showed up. But they were in the first part of the final season too. But of course they didn't really show up as much in that.
Yeah. So Zeke, well, before he got shot by another round, he goes for he pretty much forces his hand to try to to let out his primal scream just to summon the pure Titans, but Colt and Falco try to stop him at the last minute, revealing that Falco has ingested his spinal fluid, and he's pleading Zeke to not scream until Falco can get away from range from his scream. After that, they don't care what's gonna happen afterwards. You can just do whatever you want in the city, kill all the Marleyans, kill all everyone else if you want. Just don't involve Falco any further. Zeke initially hesitates at first, but then he just ends up screaming anyway, and then this of course, like you said, causes all the pure Titans to pretty much everyone who ingested Zeke's spinal fluid to turn into pure Titans, including Falco himself.
Yeah, and then we find out later that the resulting, I guess, blast from the transformation ended up, I guess burning Colt to death, because we later see his body charred on the ground. It doesn't kill Gabby, it just kind of knocks her off, because she shows up on a horse, but it knocks her over.
Yeah, and of course, all mayhem ensues as soon as the pure Titans just show up, and then they just literally just devour anyone they just find in their way, whether if it's the Jaegerists or the Marleyan soldiers left and right. And then we see the pure Titan form of Falco just literally going after Rhina, trying to devour him through the nape. But for the time being, Rhina manages to stop him, but he can't handle both him and stop Eren from reaching Zeke at the same time. Yeah. So it gets to the point where Eren manages to shake him off, and then the what was it? Falco's pure Titan tries to bite at Rhina's nape, but before he's able to successfully able to do that, I think Porco walks out and lures Falco over to devour him. But before that happens,
for a second, I know obviously Reiner's not going to die, but I kind of thought, I guess if this were the chance they had to kill off the character, it would have been a good way to a good way to do it, I guess, because he actually wanted Falco to end up inheriting the armor Titan, and if Falco ate him, he would have done that. So Reiner was at this point pretty much willing to let himself get eaten by Falco, realizing there's not really any way to get out of it, and he pretty much just resigned himself to death before Galliard ended up helping him out by distracting Falco.
Yeah. well, before this, like Rhina reached out to Porco, and it pretty much flooded a huge ton of memories into Porco, seeing like his brother admitting that he wanted to protect his brother from becoming one of the titans. And this, of course, this pretty much surprises Porco to the point where he just resigns himself to saving Rhina instead of like letting him getting devoured.
I also noticed too, like with the character of Zeke, Galliard, and Colton Falco, like the kind of like, I mean, the episode is titled Two Brothers, and the theme kind of seems to really kind of like revolve around the characters that have brothers and like their relationship, I guess. I kind of found that interesting. Like just that's the title of the episode, and then like a lot of it seems to have to do with that whole theme. But I will be honest, I didn't expect Galliard to die in this episode, so I was kind of surprised that that he ended up being killed that way. But in a way, I think his character arc was kind of complete by this episode, with him like finding out that information.
Yeah, and of course, obviously Falco is going to end up becoming the new Jaw Titan soon after this.
Yeah,
but,
I won't spoil it. I know Falco does end up transforming into a different type of Titan, but I mean, because of course I didn't read this far in the manga, but I do know some manga spoilers. But I did not. That's why I didn't expect Galliard to die, and I didn't know that Falco, I guess, let's say, may or may not end up becoming the next Jaw Titan. So yeah.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from as much spoilers before like the whole fiasco of everyone spoiling the ending of Attack on Titan. So it also took me by surprise, like how this happened. But for me, other than like how the manga ended, like it's just like I have no idea what's going to happen soon after this one.
Yeah. We should also mention that Yelena doesn't really have much to do in this episode either, because she's still just kind of there watching everything, just all the carnage, I guess, from the castle.
Yeah, and then soon after the whole thing with Galliard dying by Falco devouring him, Eren makes one last getaway before Rhina tries to stop him. But before he does, Mikasa and everyone else like literally just stops him in its tracks just to allow Eren to try to reach Zeke. But shortly before Eren manages to reach him, he gets shot in the freaking head with an anti-Titan rifle by Gabi.
Yeah, this was I will say, kind of hinted at a little bit in the last episode, because if you look, you notice there is that anti-Titan rifle in the background in some scenes of the last episode. And I forget when the hell she got that rifle, but I guess at some point she got that rifle, because we see it in the background at some points in the last episode. And I knew this happened too, because of course I knew this spoiler from the manga, but I thought for some reason this is something that happened later on in the manga and not like in the next episode. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody who's not a manga reader was just completely shocked by this scene, and I think they did it really well too. I was actually surprised with how much of the blood they showed, and just how much they were willing to show of how brutal this scene was, especially considering this supposedly airs on Japanese television, like I guess in the daytime, and that they're willing to show this much with Eren getting his head blown off.
Yeah, I mean. Well, I don't know the exact time when they're really showing this.
I will say I don't know, but I remember some people mentioning they were kind of surprised that they were actually like showing this much because of this airing on TV. But yeah, so Eren gets his head blown off, and then at this point of the episode, like of course it goes to the mid, the mid screen thing, the information screen, and then like we go back and just I like how like it seems like time is literally kind of stopped, like everybody's just kind of watching, and we see Zeke like holding Eren's head, and then it cuts to a scene like we've I mean like they kind of first I think they show like I like how they did this. They kind of like flash back, I guess, to some things that happened in the previous seasons, as well as showing Aaron's father. And then we kind of get, like, I was kind of annoyed at first because they literally showed like kind of the same scene with Aaron meeting up with Zeke, but there's a little bit more to it this time, I think. Because if you remember in the first part of the final season, they show just Zeke like tossing the baseball to him. And I think it cuts off there, but here we kind of get more where Aaron doesn't like catch the ball. And I feel like that's supposed to be like symbolic that, you know, Aaron's not completely on board with Zeke's plan. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it kind of felt that way because he doesn't catch it.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, in this episode, we of course gets revealed that of course Aaron was pretty much just playing Zeke the whole time, and he wasn't. He didn't want to euthanize the aliens.
Yeah, Aaron gets teleported into
The paths.
I forget what. Yeah, the paths, and he ends up, encountering the founding Ymir for the very first time. But before Aaron demands or asks like Ymir for the founding power or whatever it is.
Well, this is, of course, is after like Aaron reveals that he pretty much betrayed Zeke. We see Zeke as the interesting thing too is that apparently time passes very differently in this world. Apparently Zeke reveals that he's been waiting for a very long time for Aaron to come there, and that he's just been like chained to the ground the whole time. And we don't know exactly how long, but you can kind of get an idea, I guess, of how long he's been there because he has like a full beard. His hair is longer, and if you notice, his nails are really long too. So he's definitely been there a while. And he said he's just been, he's been chained. I guess he's been chained there by Ymir because she's able to make like chains out of the earth. So he's just been chained down, just waiting for Aaron. So I guess, it's kind of funny because Aaron thinks, he kind of has the upper hand in a sense. So he's just able to reveal that he's betrayed Zeke. But as we see later on in the episode, Zeke actually kind of double crosses him too, because he just gets up and he's says like I guess he could have broken free the whole time, and revealed that he's pretty much the one in control because Ymir will only listen to someone of royal blood, so that's why Ymir just kind of passes him like Aaron when he tries to speak to her. She just ignores him and goes right to Zeke and just kind of kneels before him.
Yeah, and of course this instead of Zeke getting chained, it's Aaron who's now chained up and now can't even do anything at this point. And Zeke himself, like he seems to be aware that Aaron was going to end up doing this, and he's under the belief that Aaron is brainwashed by their father's teachings or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could depend. Maybe it's Aaron saying like he's just doing it of his own choices, and he's just because he's born into the world. But we won't really know until they elaborate a little bit more further.
Yeah. No, of course. The episode ends with them just kind of touching their foreheads together, which we saw in the trailer. It goes to the. I'll be honest. Like if I didn't know about the stuff that happened in the manga, I'd be kind of just shocked at some of the stuff that happened in this episode. This is pretty much the point in the story where things are just. Things were already crazy, but they're just. They're gonna get even crazier because now, of course, we've kind of introduced. I don't know if I'd say time travel, but just kind of being able to. Look through past events because we kind of in the episode preview we see that's. Apparently, what they're going to be doing in the next episode is Zeke and Aaron are going to be like looking at things that previously happened. So yeah, it's of course with the introduction of the paths and the founder Ymir. Things are just going to get even more crazy just based on what what I know about what's going to happen in the manga, or what happens in the manga. So yeah, I really can't, and I especially can't wait until one particular scene, which I'll just say is kind of the beginning of the rumbling. but I guess we'll have to go through. I'm guessing it'll probably happen either at the end of the next episode or the episode after that, because I think they have to go through these memories first, and I think the next episode will probably be a lot more of a, not as action heavy, of course, like this one was. There's going to be more just dialogue of Eren and Zeke talking with each other, based on what I know of what happens in this point in the story. So we can kind of expect that. But yeah, I thought this episode was pretty insane. It was probably one of the best, probably the best episode I would say so far of this part of the final season, just because of the some of the things that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, well, based on where the episode preview is going, I don't think we're going to get back to the present day storyline until maybe, I think the next episode's mostly going to be whatever like flashback sequence that they're going to be exploring or elaborating on.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know. There's not really too much else to say about this episode. Like every Sunday, like these episodes just kind of, it feels like they go by way too fast, honestly, just because I'm so invested in what's going on. But I don't really have too much else to say. I thought, like I said, in terms of the animation quality, it definitely feels like a major step up. It feels like, I mean, and maybe that's just because of the way things were, the scenes looked and all that, like the way the cinematography was. But I thought it looked a lot better in this episode. But I don't know if you have anything else to say about the episode.
It was an amazing episode. I really did like how they handled the pure Titans now.
Yeah.
Like the way they animated it, like, just normal hand-drawn Titans rather than just, those, just the CG Titans we kept seeing in the last, well, pretty much the majority of this season, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, there were scenes where we were kind of seeing the hand-drawn Titan shifters, like some of the scenes with Galliard, but pretty much just with him getting his head stomped in. But yeah, I'm really excited for what's going to happen from this point on. I'm pretty sure most people who are anime onlys were not expecting Eren to get his head blown off. That was something, like I said, I knew was going to happen, but I didn't know was going to happen this early on in this point in the story. So yeah, but I guess, of course, that all being said, until next Sunday, we will see you all next time.